Been a while since I've made like a very educated, informative video, but again, I have broken my promise in what I've been mentioning of keeping my channel alive. And since I have a lot of free time, since I got both of my wisdom tooth extracted, so I am not allowed to lift heavy due to the blood pressure that could cause more problems with my recently uh well my recent condition. So I'll be making some of my videos, some of my ideas that had been backlogged for a while. Um, for the meantime, in this video, I'm going to give you my plan on how I will build not just a wide delts, which is one of my many weak points. Besides having a very small back and having small arms, but also giving them a big three-dimensional look. And in my case, ever since I stopped doing the Berserker Physique method, in which I would prioritize more on my for that's not just for actually 5 limbs, so that would also include the neck. No, not that kind of limb you're talking or thinking. So I the idea of a Berserker Physique is having bigger arms, not just the upper arms, but also the forearms, having bigger thighs, bigger quads, bigger hamstrings, even a bigger calf, and then of course, do not forget or do not skip your neck, which is, in my honest opinion, is the 5th limb. If you don't believe me, sometimes you use your mouth in such cases where your hands and even your feet are not capable of grasping or holding things. When you hold a paper or you hold a utensil, sometimes you use your mouth. So technically, your neck is the 5th lip, and of course you do not skip neck day if you want to have like a chiseled jawline effect. The ruling is the end of your jaw, the mandible, should be at least in line with your neck, or for a better, broader masculine look, your neck line should be even past your where your mandible is. And okay, that's besides the point, because today we're talking about having bigger and wider treated delts. So first off, ever since I start prioritizing building a bigger delt or bigger shoulders in general, is I implemented overhead specialization. Wow, it's a big word, but overall, any type of overhead pressing, whether it could be standing, seated. In my case, I prefer seated for a better potentiation of progressive overload, meaning you can load more or load heavier weights than usual. I prefer doing it in a Smith machine. That is also where I kind of see the imbalance between my shoulder is, particularly my left shoulder. I've been experiencing a lot of aches and pains, but I mean, if you have the financial capability of consulting your personal physician or personal doctor, I mean, why not? But in my case, working out through the pain, not directly in the pain, which could possibly cause more injuries and more setbacks or drawbacks. I prefer doing it not only seated, not only with the Smith machine, but also doing behind the neck. So I've learned this from Alex Leonidas. Actually, I've felt it myself that out of all the overhead pressing varieties that I've tried, only the behind the neck um, overhead pressing can activate your side delt more than the front delt because surprise surprise, as much as I would like to uh, say that overhead pressing and vertical pressing activates your side delt, it actually prioritizes more or activates more of your side or sorry front delt and even uh, your upper pecs. As you can see, I've been having a little bit of progress here on my upper pec, but that's besides the point. So what I would do is at least do 2 to 3 warm-up sets with just the bar or even with lighter weights, maybe 50 pounds or so 25-pound plates each side. Then afterwards, after my central nervous system is fully adapted and my joints and the specific target muscles are warmed up, I loaded up to 70 to 85 pounds of weight. I mean, you could say that is a little bit light compared to my body weight, but uh, as I've or what I have learned with Alex Leonidas as well is getting more out of less weight. And by that definition, I mean if you're only limited or you're forced to work with lighter weights more than your usual working weights or working sets, what I want to do is manipulate some of the variables in which what way what makes a exercise harder. For example, a slower eccentric, um, more reps than usual. So instead of doing your typical 8 to 10 reps, I would crank it up to 15, even 20 if you are very devious enough or you trust the weight that you're currently working. What else? Shorter rest periods, but if you're only in short of time and you have a very hectic schedule, sure. But in my case, I prefer doing lighter weights with more volume. So more reps and then more sets in case I get a little bit cheeky. So that would be my first plan in building bigger water delts. The next is using chest expanders. Again, I've learned this with Alex Leonidas as well. Not surprisingly or in a contradicting manner, chest expanders actually builds more of your back, your upper back, and surprisingly your delts as well. So from what I can experience on my again personal experience, doing like overhead like pull aparts more on the horizontal or the forward motion of doing pull aparts, I actually feel a lot more of my side delt and of course also with my rear delts because I actually forgot to mention that I think I've seen a post on Instagram with some relatively famous gymnast. I forgot his name. Maybe I'll put the post in here. So this particular gymnast has bolder shoulders and of course a bigger back or big wide back. And during his prep, his strength and conditioning consists of him being upside down, and then some of his trainers and fellow gymnasts will have him with a towel or some chains with weights chains, oh my god, some chains with weights around it. So maybe since he's a very strong gymnast, maybe I could say 50 pound each hand. And so while he's doing the movement upside down, he is letting gravity do the work, then at the same time he'll be pulling it apart um, towards his hips. So I just realized every time I do the uh, vertical or overhead pull aparts, it kinda, or technically is a similar kind of movement, but the strength curve or strength curve, yes, would particularly be different, but overall the target muscle would be just the same, which would be the side delt and even a little bit of traps, upper traps, and the rear delts. Then developing the yoke. Again, as a fellow Alex Leonidas follower on YouTube, before he went on Instagram, before he was Alpha Destiny, the yoke is his it's his holy word, you know. It was his Bible. A lot of people made fun of him, and surprise, surprise, in this day and age, a lot of young folks, young men, are now obsessed with looking more masculine by building their traps, their neck. I know a lot of people used to also make fun of me at the gym for doing neck workouts, a bigger side, or even just the rear delt. And overall, just the overall, or in general, your whole posterior chain would actually give you a bigger, better physique if you build it. So your traps, again, your neck, your lower back, so you can build a Christmas tree look when you're hitting what do you call this lat spread, and of course bigger glutes. I mean, a lot of women actually prefer men having bigger glutes, a bigger hamstring, of course bigger calves, but that is optional. Yeah, so in particular, because when you flex, when you do like a front lat spread, your traps and sometimes your neck would also give you the illusion of having like a V taper, like, or it's not like a V taper. It's more, I would like to refer as the diamond taper, because so from my neck to my traps and then my delts, I would also create a triangle like pattern while doing the front lat spread, which would also create a triangle Dorito like shape with the help of my delts and my lats. So develop the yoke. So I would recommend doing rack pulls. Yes, they are making a comeback with Alex Lena's recent video. Deadlifts, any type of deadlift variation. So your stiff-legged deadlift, your Romanian deadlift, even the normal conventional deadlift, sumo deadlift. Yes, of course, can also build tons and tons of muscle. So bigger trap, bigger forearms, even like the good morning variation. So for a bigger or stronger lower back. Jefferson deadlifts, a lot of what do you call this this variation where you lift the bar with the hinge of your arms. I forgot. So even that, do that for bigger and stronger yoke. Then next would be doing weird movements. So since I had problems with my left shoulder, again, a lot of aches and pains, maybe with not really serious as of now. I can still perform a lot of movements that involves shoulder movement, overhead, doing pulling in all angles. So my shoulder has been improving a lot because I've been doing what people would call or say weird movements like one arm face pulls, or some would like to call the archer pulls, some Cuban presses, um, not really like your conventional Cuban press. So I would rather lay my elbow maybe on my knee and then do this kind of motion, or on a bench while doing this motion, because um, building and strengthening some muscles that are unseen in the mirror, like they're underneath all of those muscles, those mirror muscles that we all have, I think is one of the big game changers that I have implemented on my training routine. Not only as a warm-up, sometimes I actually progressively overload it, also as a warm-up, but like before and after working out, doing all of my heavy lift, all of my isolation, I implement a lot of these so-called weird movements that everybody used to make fun. And overall, I've been experiencing a lot of improvement in terms of again, progressively overloading and then waking up very comfortable, because I used to wake up with nagging aches and pains, most particularly with my left shoulder. So then lastly, the prioritization of my rear delts, because again, as a gym bro, my main goal is having a bigger chest, having defined looking abs, and then of course having bigger arms. So what that did is it gave me bad posture for many years before I was introduced to lifting weights and the prioritization of having a bit not really necessarily a bigger posterior chain, but a more healthier and a well balanced posterior chain compared to my anterior chain. So as you can see, I know this is very bad lighting, but hold on. As you can see, most especially when I sweat and my rear delts are a little bit more pumped, you can see this is actually the rear delt. So as of now, your real delt is money. So not only in terms of an aesthetic standpoint, overall having a well-developed, a bigger, more mobile rear delt actually equates to a very strong, mobile, and a more long-lasting shoulder joint. Because again, with those weird movements like the archer pulls, Cuban presses, even like face pulls or like rear delt flies. I would also forget to mention like the lying rear delt flies on the bench, like doing this kind of motion while you're laying at the bench, actually hits my rear delts more than the standing or even like what do you call this, leaning rear delt flies. Also the rear delt fly machines actually is one of the bang for your buck type of equipments if you are planning for a very expensive home gym. So never neglect or never sleep on doing rear delt work. So oh my god, not only again it gives you a bigger shoulder in all angles when you flex them, it also gives you the illusion of having a bigger arm. I mean, technically, due to me prioritizing or doing a lot of push-ups during my start of doing calisthenics before going to a real gym, actually helped me a lot with building bigger triceps. But in the addition of having well-developed rear delts, actually gives me the illusion, or um, or in particular, having the illusion of having bigger arms. So that would be it. I would try to edit this uh, earlier so I can upload it and be active again on my YouTube. And also, if you are also kind enough, you can visit my Instagram and TikTok. I also post fitness related content there, and maybe some brain rot content, especially on TikTok. So that would be it. To all my, if there are if there are all still some loyal subscribers on my YouTube platform, give us a like, share this with your friends, and if you already knew some of my tips and my plan in building a well-developed, wider, bigger 3D delt, I mean, you can comment down below if you also have some tricks up your sleeve to also help me with my plan of on building a wider and bigger 3D delt. So that would be it. Thank you for watching and have a good day.